Okay, so this is how you do regular maintenance on the 2007 version of the MacDev Gladiator high pressure reg. This is the one that came with the 2007 Cyborg. Like all Gladiators, it basically comes apart in two pieces. There's the top works and the bottom works. So we're just going to grab the bottom works and the top works and spin them apart. And we'll set the bottom works aside. And the top works has the piston seat, and the spring stack. So we're going to take a pen and push the piston out the bottom of the top works, and then just take a Q-tip, or you could use a paper towel, and run it along the inside of the top works and clean it out. Set that aside. Oh, that's actually pretty gross in there. I'm going to clean it out some more. So you can use a paper towel if you need to. And we'll set that aside. And then clean off the spring stack with the piston and the piston retainer. Now, the piston retainer on the 2007 Gladiator is a cake, so it's two pieces. The top part of the upper retainer has the O-rings on it, so I'm just going to kind of clean those off, and then clean off the bottom, the lower retainer. Set those aside. Now there should be 8 washers on this, and they should be set up in such a way that they form a spring pattern. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but there are 2 washers right there, and they're facing each other so that they form a spring. Otherwise you'll see them looking like that, and that performs no compression at all. The washers don't need to have any lube or anything on them. If they are lubricated, you just kind of want to clean them off a bit. Set them aside. They don't move, they don't need to be lubricated. And then we'll clean off the piston. Now, when you put the washers back on, you want to have sort of the bent side that's pointing in a direction facing away from the piston. So put that one on, and now you want to reverse it each time. So now this one should be facing the other one, and then this one should be facing away from that one. And it just continues like that, so that all these washers are pushing away from each other essentially and forming a spring system. And now once you've got all the washers back on the piston, you want to take some militia lube or Dow 33. Take a little bit of it and run it along the piston tip. Set that aside. And we'll take a little bit of lube and kind of run it along the inside of the retainer where the O-rings are. Sandwich that back together. The upper part of the retainer, well, the O-rings, is the side that's going to go back onto the piston first. So we'll slide the piston through the retainer. Take a little bit more lube and put some on the piston O-ring, and put a little bit on the retainer O-ring, and then just kind of run it along both those O-rings. They just need to look wet. They don't need to have lube caked on them or anything like that, but you don't want them to look dry either. Just take a little bit of lube also and run it along the inside of the top works, and then we'll slide the shim stack and piston back into the top works, and then take a paper towel and just kind of clean off the piston tip and set that aside. Now the bottom works doesn't usually need any maintenance, but sometimes you might find that the reg seat, the little red plastic piece there, might have a ding in it or a dent or something like that, so you may need to swap it out. And to do that, you take the screw, which is the same as the adjuster screw. It's I believe a 3/32, and you want to unscrew the silver screw. The silver screw just holds this reg collar onto the bottom works. The adjuster screw is bronze, and in a little hole. So we'll unscrew the collar screw and set that aside. Slide the collar off, set that aside, and now you want to take that 3/30 seconds again, and you want to unscrew the adjuster screw all the way out. Remove it from the bottom works. And be careful when it comes out, and because a ball bearing will come with it. And we'll take the adjuster screw and set that aside. Pop this ball bearing out. Put that in a safe place so we don't lose it. Now, there's another ball bearing inside this hole, and the two ball bearings together, when you screw the adjuster screw in, push the reg seat up and into the piston so it doesn't move as far away and doesn't let as much air flow through. So there's still another ball bearing in there, and in order to get the reg seat out, we'll take the bent end of this Allen key and stick it into the adjuster screw hole, and then pull back on it to push that ball bearing into the bottom of the retainer, which pops the retainer up. And then gently pull the retainer out, or the reg seat out, sorry. And you can just flip it over, clean off the other side. You'll see the a washer inside with the ball bearing on the other side. And then just stick that reg seat back in to the hole, and take a paper towel and just kind of clean that off. We'll take that ball bearing, pop it back into the adjuster hole, and then take the adjuster screw. Now the adjuster screw has a flat face, and then it has a concave face. The concave face will go towards the ball bearing. So you want to kind of sit that in place, and then reverse thread it. Just back it out a little bit until you feel it click, just so you know that it's in the right place and you're not going to screw up the threads. It's a little tough, but see if I can get this. There we go. Alright. And then we'll use the Allen key to screw that back in. You just kind of keep your finger on the top. You don't want the reg seat to move up too far. Just want to get that back into place. Okay, and once it pretty much stops moving, you can just stop screwing it in. And then we'll take the reg collar. The reg collar can only go back on one way. If you put it on the wrong way, it'll be kind of obvious. The holes won't line up. So I'll just make sure that you can see the adjuster screw through the hole there. And then we'll take the retainer screw for the collar. Just make sure that's lined up again. Yep. And then put that in. And then we will screw this back in. Now the collar is locked in place. And just again, I'm going to clean off the reg seat, make sure there's nothing on that. And then if you want to, you can put a little bit of lube around the threads here so that it will bind up at all. Big easier to take apart if it gets cranked together tightly. And then just take the top works and the bottom works and screw them back together. And now the reg, since we've cleaned it off and relubed it, you want to zero it out. So we're going to take the adjuster screw and we're just going to slowly turn the adjuster screw back in until it stops. You just want to feel it stop, so basically you're feeling it, the reg seat hit the piston. You don't want to push too hard because that's going to put a dent in the piston itself. And then put it back in your gun or reg tester if you have one, and then you can air it up and readjust the pressure, and that's it.